All right. I don't think I made this as clear as I should have on Friday. Hills, SAS, only used if I'm given a diagram that looks like this. You have to have a right triangle with an altitude to the hypotenuse. You cannot use hills and SAS on any right triangle. You cannot use hills and SAS on any similar triangles. That has to be a right triangle with an altitude to the hypotenuse. That is the only time I can do this little trick called hills and SAS. All right, let's do this. Give me the name of CB here. CB is my hypotenuse. That's the H in hills. Give me the name for AB and AC. Leg. Give me the name for AD. Altitude. And then finally, give me the name for CD and DB. Segment. Again, going quick. If I decide to use SAS, what does the S stand for? Segment, the A, altitude, and the other S. What do you know about the S, the segments? Have to be different, but also remember they're the extremes. All right, the means are always the same, extremes are always different, so it's the two different segments. And if I use hills, H for hypotenuse, L for leg. What do you know about the two legs in hills? They're the same. And then the key part, what about the S? Segment adjacent to the leg you put here, right? The segment next to. Okay? Everyone all good? Okay, ready to get a little tougher here. Okay, why tougher? Well, I have to solve for 3 variables now. And I think it's going to be, for some of you anyway, where the heck do I start? Okay? Because there's only one variable up here you can solve for. You have enough information for right now. All right, so let me talk you through this. What's the altitude labeled as? Y. So some of you may say, hey, why don't we use SAS right now? But if you use SAS, give me a segment. 1 over your altitude. Y, altitude over other segment. Okay, that's not happening when I have a proportion with 2 different variables. It's not going to happen. All right, I'm not going to have you solve something like that. I want to keep a proportion with the same variables. So SAS is out. So I need you and your group right now to think about how you could use hills to solve for 1 variable only. Can you make a proportion up using hills using 1 variable only? Think about it. You can discuss it if you'd like in your group. Because SAS is out of the question. Because if I try to use SAS, I'm going to have a Y and an X in there, and I don't want that. Okay, here we go. Let's see what you came up with. Well, no matter what you pick, the hypotenuse should be the same for everybody. Okay, how do I express what the hypotenuse is up here? 11. Express the hypotenuse for me. X plus 1, 1 plus x. Yep. Okay, I kind of gave it away now. We know what the variable is going to be. All right, should be x, so I should be picking a certain leg up here that does not involve another variable. All right, I'm laying that on pretty thick. 14, what leg do I want to use? 3. And if I choose 3, I also have to pick 3 for the other leg. The means are the same. What segment is adjacent to the leg of 3 now? 8. 1. There you go. That's how I can solve for x. And this isn't bad at all, huh? X plus 1 equals 9. X equals 8. So there's x. I'll plug that into the diagram because now I can use it. And it's up to you what you want to do now. We can solve for z or for y now. It's not going to matter. Anybody have a preference? All right, let's go z then. Let's go z. Z's a leg, so I'm probably going to use what? Hills or Sass? Hills again, all right. All right, now you actually don't tell me x plus 1 now. What is the hypotenuse length? 18? Perfect. How about 3? 9 over leg z. Leg z, what segment should I be plugging in? 1 or 8 now for the segment? 2, what's the segment I should use? 8, yep. And as usual on an honors level class, break it down, please. Simplest radical form when you break down 72. Biggest perfect square. There's something bigger than 9 out there if you chose 9. Something bigger than 9. $72 broken down. 11, what's it break down into?
6 squared.
Got it. And you ready for the altitude now? Why? Going to use the only one I can use for altitude. All right, here we go. Help me fill this beast in. 18, not here. How about 1? Segment. 1. Altitude. Other altitude. There is none. Other segment. There you go. Nice way of matching up the corresponding sides. Y squared equals 8. And yes, we are breaking that down as well. $19, what's it break down into? Toughest part is where to start. For some of these, toughest part, where to start. All right, good deal. Here you go. Solve for x and y. Huh. You like my hint, by the way? Think about old stuff to get started. What the heck's he mean? Senior citizens, expired food. Great hint. Well, first of all, I can eliminate Sass. Why can I eliminate Sass right away? Nothing about the altitude. See it, no chance. So it's definitely going to be a hills, but I really don't want to put x plus y in for the hypotenuse. You guys see this diagram, and I understand right now you're hill Sass all day. But keep in mind, what type of triangle is this? It's a right triangle. So what else do you still have in your back pocket other than hills and Sass to break out whenever you need it? Pythag, yes. You always have Pythag. All right, which is how I'm going to get the hypotenuse here. So I'm going to say 15 squared plus 20 squared. If you want to put c squared, that's fine. I'm just going to put 8 squared for the hypotenuse. You always have Pythag in your back pocket if hills and Sass isn't working for you. You just need 2 out of the 3 sides. So let's find the hypotenuse length. Hypotenuse length, 5. Hypotenuse length, 25. Got it? All right, so let's go. Hypotenuse length of 25. We have to make a decision what letter we want to solve for here before we put a leg in. What? I don't even know why I asked. 2. Which one do you want to solve for? X. You got it. So if I go X, Ellie, what leg do I need then? Okay, so 15 equals 15 over segment X. You got it. So segment X turns out to be a length of 5. What is it? 9? I'll be honest with you, I don't want to do hills again. Is there a shorter, quicker way I can get to what y is going to be equal to without doing hills again? Let's think about this, honors kids. How long is the whole hypotenuse? 25. The one segment was already found to be 9. Boom, 16. We're good. If you want to do hills again, you can, but a little quicker. All right. Any issues? Okay, we can also do word problems. Now, I could not get this on the diagram, so you're going to have to draw this in for me, that this is an altitude right here. All right, I couldn't get those right angles in the diagram for some reason. Oh, photographer. By the way, you know who the photographer is? Big Al. All right, anybody remember Big Al? Yep, and he's come up before. He'll show up more and more on the quizzes and tests this semester. But that's the photographer, Big Al. Ooh, his camera has a viewing, look at that, Big Al, has a viewing angle of 90 degrees, and he wants to make sure he's got the 2 palm trees in there. Just embarrassing myself. Right? The palm trees, they got those sway little branches or whatever. That's not bad. Palm trees, there's a little wind going this way. All right. So he's going to walk out onto the walkway so he can get this 90-degree angle. So how far does he have to walk out onto the walkway to get that 90-degree angle? What's the walkway another name for? The altitude, right? So automatically I'm like, all right, you want me to find the altitude? I'm going to use SAS here. Yep. Number 10, here you go. What's my what's a segment here? 90. How about the altitude? That's the walkway. X and other segment? 40. Yep. So how far does Big Al have to walk out? How far does he have to walk out? 6. How far does he have to walk out? 60. And thank you for using units. That's what I'm expecting in your answer if the problem has units. 60 feet. Last couple of years, Regents love to put on the Hill SAS word problem on the Regents exam. Hill SAS word problem. A little tougher than Big Al and his photography, but. Only other thing I want to go over with you is when you set up Hills and SAS, solving it may be a little different than what you expect. That's why we did all the work in the last unit. All right, automatically, what are we using here? Let's go. Gotta. 10's there, right? 10 and the 2 segments are there. Question's over. Definitely going to use SAS. All right, help me fill it in. 20, help me fill it in. Segment over altitude. Altitude over segment. All right, we got it. No big deal. That's not tough. Here comes the tough part. Cross multiply. What do you end up with? Cross multiply. 9.
X squared plus 15x equals 100.
How many of these did we do recently? Too many? What's going to end up happening here? Quadratic formula or factoring, but I can't do either one until one side set equal to 0. So let's move the hundo over. We're in honors, sorry. If you want to use your quadratic formula, you go right ahead. We're factoring this beast. What's your C value up here? C value. C value? Negative 100. So I'm looking for two numbers that have to multiply to 100, but are somehow going to give me 15 when I add them together. Don't yell out anything. You guys that struggle with factoring, here's a tip. Start with the number you have to multiply to. What number do we have to multiply to? 100. So I start going 10 and 10. Why won't 10 and 10 work? There's no way I'm getting a 15 from 10 and 10. So I keep going. 4 and 25. Am I going to get a 15 from 4 and 25? Nope. Of course, I'm leaving the actual answer to last, but 2 and 50. They multiply to 100. What am I leaving out other than 1 and 100, which I know does not work? 20 and 5. Yep. I can get a 15 from 20 and 5. What's the signage have to be here to add to 15? Plus 20 and minus 5. So x equals 5. And x also equals negative 20. Anybody? Anybody, Mike?
Can't have negative 20 because it's a side length.
Diagram? Yes, I do have a diagram, so that means I cannot have a negative side length, which negative 20 would give me. See you later. So I'm just left with 5. You can try the next one by yourself or in your group, but in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to ask somebody. Oh, good. All right, let's go. Hurry up before you start. Let's go. Star, we're going right to star. Star, Promethean man, we're good? So I can get moving? Can we go here so you can have time to finish this one and start your homework? I heard star right off the bat. Let's go. What are we going? Let's make a decision. We're going with slide. Okay, because I have to go backwards, it'll be slide to the right. Okay? Instead of the usual slide to the left, it'll be slide to the right because I have to go backwards. All right, everyone ready? Promethean man or slide? Ready? Oh. Ooh, wow. That's awful right there. No. Okay, well, let's finish up here so you can have no homework. Let's go. Oh, the algebra one's always fair game. Yes, that's always, yes, absolutely. Okay, let's get going. And that's for period 8 only. If you're watching this at home, period 8 only. All right, finish up as some people are asking their or answering my questions here. First thing, was this going to be a Hills or a SAS one here? One, Hills or SAS? SAS, yep, because the altitude is given as 12. All right, so I'll fill in the altitudes for you. 12 and 12. It looks like one segment is x. I'm interested in what you call the other segment because you don't want it to be another variable. 2. Good. The whole hypotenuse is 26. That part's x, so that's got to be 26 minus x. Nice job. All right, now when you cross multiplied, you do have 144, 26x minus x squared. I don't know if I've made my feelings felt about this, but I cannot stand when the x squared's negative. So I move everything over to the left. If you want to handle it, hey, go right ahead. I prefer not to, though. What's that? Well, I can't do this. Because that gives me positive x squared and it's negative. So I got to somehow adjust the signs on those, which I don't want to. I'd rather just follow the rule, multiply, and add to it. And then keep the 144 positive. You could use quadratic formula, feel free. I'm throwing the old factoring game out and looking for two numbers that multiply to 144 but are going to somehow give me a 26. And those numbers, 18 and 8, what do I have to put in front of them to get negative 26? Both negative. So you ended up with 8 and 18. Do either one make negative side lengths? No. So there's no need to reject either of them. There's two different values. Could be 8 or it could be 18. Right. Questions there? Okay, I'm holding up my end of the bargain, which is no homework tonight. All right? But I'm not letting you just off on the next 15 minutes of class. All right? So you're doing your review problem. You're getting a book and starting the assignment with a Chromebook out in front of you with the answer key. Once 207 hits, go ahead, shut it down and forget about the rest. Okay, but this is not going to be free time study hall. All right, let's get going if I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain.